Did you know about James Saltmarshall? In 2017, Detroit was shaken by a heartbreaking story. The story of James Lee Saltmarshall, a young father whose entire life turned upside down in a matter of hours. James wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't wealthy. He was just a regular dad trying to care for his baby daughter, Jania, who was only 8 months old. Like many parents, James sometimes fell asleep with his little girl beside him, never imagining that something so ordinary could turn into a nightmare. One night, as James drifted off to sleep with his daughter by his side, tragedy struck. In the middle of the night, Jania stopped breathing. When James woke up, panic filled his heart. He called for help, desperately trying to save her, but it was too late. His baby girl was gone. But what followed was even worse than the tragedy itself. Instead of being seen as a grieving father, James was suddenly labeled a murderer. Doctors claimed Jania had injuries that looked like sexual assault and physical abuse. Police arrested him, charging him with murder, child abuse, and even rape. In the blink of an eye, James Saltmarshall went from being a father to being the most hated man in Detroit. News headlines blasted his face everywhere. Neighbors whispered. People judged. He was placed in a jail cell, alone, terrified, and broken. He kept saying, "I didn't hurt my baby. I loved her. This was an accident." But nobody believed him. Weeks turned into months, and James sat behind bars, suffering not just from grief over his daughter's death, but also from the crushing weight of false accusations. He faced the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison for something he did not do. Then, finally, the truth began to surface. The Wayne County Medical Examiner released the final autopsy results. They found that Jania hadn't been assaulted. She hadn't been beaten. She had died of asphyxia, an accidental suffocation known as overlay, which happens when a parent accidentally rolls over a child while sleeping. James' nightmare charges were dropped. The court said there was no evidence of murder or abuse. He was free, but freedom didn't erase the scars. James had lost his daughter forever. He had been painted as a monster, only to be told later it was all a mistake. He walked out of jail a free man, but also a broken man, broken by grief, by public shame, and by the system that failed him. James Saltmarshall's story is one of the most tragic examples of how a single mistake, a father falling asleep beside his baby, can destroy not just one life, but an entire family.